Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Kevin with survivalistboards.com. It's time for another Jaxman flashlight review. Full disclosure, they sent this flashlight to me, no cost to myself. That's not going to affect my opinion because we look at fact-based results. And this is the first time I have opened this flashlight. I don't know anything about it, nothing. So what y'all see is what I see. Guys, that looks like one workhorse of a flashlight. It's got an extra O-ring, lanyard. It's got a sleeve over here for some reason. I'm gonna guess that's a battery sleeve, so you can use different batteries in it. I think this flashlight, I've not really read up on it, uses a couple of different types of batteries. Let's unscrew this and take a look inside of here. Okay, take that out. Wow, I've never used this type of battery before. This is totally new to me. Right off the bat, I mean, this is a chunk of a flashlight. I'm talking, this is, just has a good solid feel in it. It looks like feels like you've got a hammer in your hand. You just go bam, but I'm not going to beat it. I'm not going to drive any nails or anything with it. Well, I guess these are coolant fins. I'm going to guess that. I'm not for sure. It has a momentary on, which is excellent, which you can cycle through the different settings. No momentary off, which is no big deal. The momentary on is a big one. Let's get some measurements and weight. Alright guys, let's see how much this thing weighs. 14.65 ounces. Man, that's a big flashlight. Anyway, first thing I noticed right off the bat is it's got the lanyard holes. It's got a big one, two small round ones, an oblong one. That one looks like it's a little bit longer than that one. Let's get the tape measure out here. The base of it is about 1 7/16 inch and a half. Bezel 2 3/8. Length about 6 and, what would y'all call that? About 6 3/8 or so. I'm gonna call that 6 3/8, guys. Guys, let's go out and check the chickens. Get some video while we're out here. And the flashlight does not have a, you have to turn it off and then select which brightness setting you want and then turn it on to that. So let's see here. Let's get up at the top of this tree. Let's say we're going to check the chickens, so we don't want the brightest setting, so we're just going to have to turn it down. So if you turn it on, we've got it on the low setting, is that there's no way to adjust it to the brightest setting without turning it off and then cycling it back through to the setting that we want. It's got a nice cone, about 45 degrees. If you put the edge of the outer cone directly in front of you, this is a little bit more than 45 degrees to the outside. It's got a very nice focused center beam, about 200 feet from some of the trees over there. Able to see the top of them just fine. Let's get some pictures. What do y'all say? Now for these pictures, we are using an 18650 battery. So that's what that plastic sleeve is for. You take the big battery out, put this in there, put the sleeve in there, and you're able to use an 18650 battery. I thought that was fair because a lot of people may not have those big charger for that battery. I don't know if I do. I think I do. But I thought it'd be more fair to do this test with an 18650 battery that people who have these types of flashlights will probably have. Let's go over the chicken house, check things out. So I really wish this thing had a setting of where you could just push the button and cycle through, push the tail cap and cycle through the brightness settings. or have the on-off on the tail cap and have the brightness settings up here towards the head. So now we got to turn the flashlight off and then cycle through the brightest settings to the low one and then turn it back on. Put this temporary door on here, painted it. I got a little bit more to do. Move the hinges out here on the outside. Put a 1x4 out here on this outside edge. And the wind blew it closed. Now a bunch of my chickens are outside. Well, there's the guineas. I'm not worried about them. More worried about like that buff orpington on top of the feed barrel, water barrel. Alright, there's my rooster, some of my good hens. I gotta turn this off, get them inside the chicken house. Alright guys, time for the drop test. We'll be dropping the light at about a height of 4 feet onto this wooden cross tie. 1. That didn't count. 2. 3. Ooh, that one there left a mark. Man. 4. And I did not see the light flicker. The lens is still good. No damage. Alright, let's move on to the next test, guys. Alright guys, the next test is submersion test. This is usually a clear running creek, sandy bottom. We've had a lot of rain lately. And it's just a slow moving kind of muddy creek now. And what we're going to do is we've got it tied off to a tree. And we are going to throw it in the creek. There it goes. And I'm going to go check the time. We'll come back in about 30 minutes or so. Now, before I threw it in the creek, the threads were treated with CLP firearm oil. That's a cleaner lubricant protector. Not the threads, but the O-ring. Yeah, the O-rings on the tail cap were coated with CLP before throwing it into the creek. Oh, guys, it looks like I caught something. See that line twitching like that? That usually means there's a fish on there. But I doubt there's going to be a fish on there. But I hope there's a flashlight on there. Look at there, still there. Good deal. Okay, let's get it up here. What I see is what you see. And I see no water in behind the lens. That's good. That's good. I'm just going to take it and wipe it off, guys. I'm not trying to hide anything. What I see is what you see. Let's take a look at the battery compartment. Alright, good deal. I see no water in there. Outstanding. Outstanding. Outstanding, guys. So what are my final thoughts on the Jaxman X1S? I like it with reservations. It's that upon opening the flashlight up for the very first time, and it had this battery. Battery needs some type of brand name. I mean, it needs clear labeling. It needs a brand name on it, a website. I mean, something to say where this battery came from. We need to know where this battery came from. Its battery may explode or fire if mistreated. Do not disassemble. Do not charge except specified charging condition. What is the charging condition? Do not heat above 212 degrees or short circuit. Do not crush or modify. We need a little bit more labeling on it than that. Just a little bit more. I also like that it can take 2 different types of batteries. It can take this type here, which is the only flashlight I've got that takes this type of battery. And it would be nice if this thing said rechargeable on it. These big bold letters, rechargeable. Just some type of brand name, rechargeable. Because I don't know if it's rechargeable or not. Do not recharge except under specified conditions. Well, what's the charging conditions? I don't know. Anyway, I like that it takes the 18650 battery. I wish this fit a little bit better. I mean, you put that in there and the battery just kind of wobbles around. It's got a lot of slack. These fins could be just a little bit bigger. And that battery could be just a little bit snugger in there. The on-off switch is a... I don't know, guys. I mean, this thing throws a wonderful beam. Turn it on, defaults to the brightest setting, throws an absolute wonderful beam. To select a different brightness setting, turn the flashlight on. There's no momentary on-off switch. Pushing the tail cap button does not change the brightness setting. Now watch that. Watch the light down there. You have to turn it off, then cycle through the brightness settings till you find one that you like, and then turn it on from there. That just seems awkward. It seems cumbersome not being able to change the brightness settings on the fly. Lanyard holes are plenty big. They're like 3/16 of an inch wide, 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch long, 1/8 of an inch wide. Absolutely like them. They're wonderful. Good size where you get some good cord through there. Cooling fins work very well. Flashlight does not get hot. I'm using it at night, going out to the chicken yard, doing things around the farm. Does not get hot at all. I mean, these cooling fins do their job, dissipates the heat, does an excellent job. I like the beam. I like that it can use 2 different types of batteries. I just do not like the switch. That's the only drawback. That is the only drawback to this flashlight, is the switch. I'm going to have to give it, I don't know, because the switch is so convoluted, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I'm taking off a lot of points because of the switch. Walking around a farm, shining around the tops of the trees, looking for raccoons or anything else that's up in there. And I'm having to change the brightness settings, and have to come up here, turn it off, push that cap, and then turn it back on. It's just very convoluted. Alright guys, gals, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Give me some feedback, let me know what you think, and I will talk to y'all later.